Rob, can you pull up the clip? Of Chris Cuomo at the DNC. I want to first play it for the audience.
Is it okay if I wear it during the podcast?
I think it's fantastic. I think you're going to confuse the hell out of everybody saying, is this a new ticket?
I knew he was a partisan.
So this is Chris at the DNC. Now, Chris, when you're doing this and you're saying this, did somebody piss you off? Did something happen? Did somebody do something that you got upset about? Or was it just purely organic? You knew you were going to say this.
So here's what happened. Obviously, I didn't just discover this. Everybody understands the role of money in these things. But sometimes it's about degree. So I'm walking around to get to News Nation's setup up where the suites are. They had a setup. Now, I was never there, maybe for a moment. I really believed you need to be on the floor. I did not know they wouldn't let me sit down. And my ankles look like my grandmother's. I had to stand 6 hours every night. And people are like, so what? Well, I'm 54 years old. It's hard. So you stand all night. It's exhausting.
Cankles, I believe.
Yeah, I had a real set of Irish Marys. So I'm walking around where the setup is. And I see the suites. I know the suites are there. And they all have drapes. And some people stop me. They want to take a picture. I take a picture. The same people walk in to one of the suites, and I'm kind of like walking around. I look into the suite, and the people who are in there running the suite see me and walk over and close the drape. And it wasn't insulting or anything, but it was just one of those things where I was like,
did you have a camera crew with you, or is it just you?
No, I was just walking around. And I said, there's just such an obvious bullshit aspect. And it's always been like this at every convention I've been to. I've been to many RNCs, many DNCs. You have to make the money to play the game. And I then was like looking at, hey, I wonder what they're costing this year. And they don't hide it. It's right there. There's a menu. And the RNC had a menu. There's no shame in the game because it's all legal. You pay $5 million, you get a meeting with the elected leadership. Sure. And then they offset it by saying, oh, but we have small dollar donations. Now, this is an obvious fake, right? Why? Well, who matters more to you? 100 people who give you $1 or one guy who gives you $100? So I say to my producer, do me a favor, walk around with the camera and just POV it, like as if you were a person in these different things. And I start looking at the numbers, and the numbers are staggering. 2000, they spent over $200 million in the presidential election. It's a lot. This year, the estimate is $10 billion.
Wow.
How can you believe that anybody's going to do anything to those people? And I just believe that it was important just to remind. I don't think people are stupid. I don't think they don't think there's money in politics. I don't think they don't think that bigger money means more. And I've been spending time with a guy named John Morgan. If you watch TV, you've seen commercials for Morgan & Morgan.
Oh, Morgan & Morgan.
They're the largest plaintiffs firm in the country, right?
Of course. They're everywhere.
He is a big bundler, mostly Democrats, but he's worked. This guy is the most honest, candid talker of the money in the game I've ever met. I say to him, what happened with Biden? He goes, oh, I'll tell you what happened with Biden. This is the freedom that money gives you in politics, because he doesn't give up what anybody says to him because they need his money. He's like, oh, it wasn't Obama. No. This was Nancy Pelosi. She did some lion shit. She got blood all in her mouth and in her teeth biting on Biden's neck because he was hurting them down ballot. And that's why Nancy Pelosi is the best. And I said, so you like Nancy Pelosi? He goes, oh, yeah. She took my kids to meet the Dalai Lama in Tibet. I'll give her whatever she wants. Complete, transparent.
Yes. Like, she's saying that's on the camera? On the interview?
Yeah, it's on my podcast.
Camera.
On my podcast.
Wow.
And he has, on my TV show, he said it. He said it, and then I had him. And he's not lying. This is the reality. You hook people up who hook you up.
Holy shit.
And I just wanted people to know that the idea, corporate gouging, is something that can happen. It is not happening with groceries. The business has some of the smallest margins. The idea that that's what's going on, it's not what's going on. Eggs are higher because you got avian flu all over the world that's making a difference. People are trying to catch up from the pandemic. There are different reasons, economic and environmental, why it's happening. But the idea that you're going to stop it, that you're going to make them pay their fair share, you're full of shit. Because they are going to pay their way right out of it.
Rob, do me a favor, play the clip. I have a follow-up question on this because I think the audience needs to see your energy while you're in the middle of it. So this is when it happens.
And I'm getting a lot of hate during this.
Well, that was my question.
A lot of
for
hate,
you.
a lot of stink eyes.
I understand that.
From where? I'm from around you, right?
Afterwards, when it
During
went. Okay, play
and
the clip.
after.
Rob. Play the clip.
DNC, but on
Play
X,
the
you were
clip,
getting
Rob.
cheerleaders.
Play the clip.
Theme here at the DNC is that they're going to go after corporate gouging. And they're going to go after corporations, whether it's in taxes, largesse, loopholes. The RNC, we heard the same thing. They're going after the elites, the two sets of rules. Let me reveal a reality to you that has to be spoken to here, okay? These are the soldiers. These are the men and the women that go back to their constituencies and their communities, and they fight. They take time from their jobs. They take time from their families. Republicans and Democrats alike, that's what they do. They need to charge these people up. They need to be able to get them on board. But there's another reality that is literally looking down on them. Greg, look at the ring of sweets, okay? This is not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money. When people talk about uniparty, we are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's like the Cub Scouts of Columbia County, South Carolina, that's up in those boxes? Some of them are lobbies and good things. The media boxes, you think they're free? Why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization. We are corporate media. We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They are literally looking down on the faithful and being told, yeah, we're going to break down on them. We're going to make them pay their share. They paid $500, $700, $1 million, $1.5 million to have those seats. They get hotel suites that are probably gifted to the party. And the same thing is true with the Republican side. And they're going to take them down. They're going to change how it is. They are looking down from on high at the people who make the difference in their communities. And that is the reality of politics. And I had my producer walk around and show you those suites. Now, they're not all the same. They're not all the same. But the reality is, in 2000, they spent $300 million on presidential campaigns. 24 years later, you know what they're expected to spend? $10 billion. Do you know how much money Harris has raised in the last couple of weeks? Hundreds of millions. And that's success.
You can pause.
A lot of it's small.
So let me ask you this question. You're walking around there. A lot of these guys are former colleagues. CNN is there. MSNBC is there. Everybody is there. How are they reacting when they're seeing you? What's the reaction? Is there tension? Because listen, in the insurance space, when I was a guy that was going up against certain guys that were my enemies, and this is insurance. It's not like public, but when we were in the same room, everybody would say, holy shit, they're in the same room. And everyone's watching us, right? Because there's tension that's high. Is that how it is when they see you or not necessarily?
So it may be a similar vibe, but for very different reasons. And, you and I are close, so you know where this is coming from. You are a function of jealousy in the context that you're talking about. That's not what it is with me. My exit from CNN and what people were told about it hurt me and made people think that I was doing shady shit to help my brother and that I was somehow using my show to do that. People at CNN were warned that they couldn't talk to me. So this was the first time I've been anywhere with those people. And again, anybody who knows me knows I don't blow smoke.
Wait a minute. This is the first time since leaving CNN that you're around those people. Yeah. That's why I'm saying when I saw that, I'm like, something happened.
So look, again, most of the people watching don't really know me. Like, I'm not exactly the guy you're going to come up to and talk shit to in the first place, right? But it hurt because I care about these people. I had real relationships there, and people think I don't go after CNN because of litigation. I don't go after CNN because I really respected and appreciated my position there, and I believe in the place. I'm upset with the people who fired me, but I'm not going to blame the whole place. So a lot of the crew guys are coming up, we're saying hello, we're hugging. I miss them, man. You know, I was all over the world. You live shit together when you're in that business, bad shit. And so that's awkward and that's hurtful. And most of the talent will ignore me unless we're in the same space with somebody that they want to say hello to at the same time. I got a very good reception at the convention. And people were very nice. And when other media was around when that was happening, they would want to come up and say hello. But I'm not that guy. I don't try to come from a place, I'm trying to get rid of the negativity as much as I can. But I'm not going to fake anything with anybody.
Did anyone talk shit? Did anyone come and make a
No, because you know how it is,
comment?
Pat. You know how it is. I mean, somebody's going to talk about you. They're not going to talk like that.
To your face.
Yeah. You know? So, I mean, you would. I would. But, I mean, it's a different thing.
But did you tell them anything? Like, did you see anybody and they're like, hey, man, good, I miss you. And you're like, no, you don't.
No, you know what started happening?
Did you have that moment?
Yeah, I had that with a couple of people. Yeah. And I had something that bothered me. Adam would come up and say, Patrick wants to talk to you. No. No. You know my number. You know where I am. We're adults, okay? You want to talk to me, you talk to me. And so I wasn't playing that game. But I'll tell you what happened that was interesting. And it kind of goes to the problem. So they all get pissed off at me at the DNC for saying what I said about the DNC. And all the righties love it. Yep. Until I start to cement the point and say nobody has high ground on this. Even, Trump, one of the compelling components of Trump's early ascendance was, well, he doesn't need the money. This guy's self-made.
Yeah.
But the reality is he's taking the money as much as anybody else because you have to. You cannot compete otherwise. So that starts to sink in. Now the righties are mad at me. And it was such an interesting dynamic of this duopoly. These two parties are literally wringing the life out of our democracy. You cannot be about anything more than the money and the positioning of power. You will lose. And they justify it on both sides the same way. Yes. We should change it. This is wrong, Patrick. I'm sorry I got to squeeze you for this much. But I can't do it now. I have to win. And then we'll figure it out. That's why every election is the most important election in our lifetime.
But you didn't talk like this. You didn't talk like this 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Let me kind of preface this. We have our conversations and I would always say establishment, and you would say, come on, man, what establishment? Establishment, and we would go back on that specific topic, anti-establishment, establishment. You just took a shot at establishment, period, left, right, center. That's what that message was. That is not a message of. I couldn't have seen you give that message 4 years ago because you were establishment. Now you're starting to see what the hell is going on the back end with the establishment on all sides. And you sit there and say, you know what? That's exactly what's going on. Because the audience watches that and saying, that's honest journalism that you're talking shit about what all these guys are doing and they're using their money to control policies, right? So do you feel now... Pat, you have no clue what you're talking about. That's not true. Do you feel now you're seeing the difference?
You absolutely have a clue. Listen, I love you. Don't let
I love
people think that I don't love you.
Oh, no. That's not what I'm saying. The point I'm saying to you is, are you seeing now that you're out of it,
yes,
that there is such a thing as okay.
Here's the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, people don't have to accept it, but I would ask you to consider, why would he lie? Okay. I'm never going to work at a big platform again. They don't have a job that I want. I have a stained reputation from them. And the combination of those two things mean I don't have to be nice to anybody. It's not going to get me anywhere. But you feel how you want to feel. Here's what I think the change is. I have changed what I believe matters, okay? When Trump was first on the ascendant, to everybody else, because I had known him my whole life, I believed, and I still do, that there was a need for a muscular response to what he was saying that wasn't happening in the media because he was too intimidating. And they were not used to fighting with somebody who would actively fight with them as a person. Journalists aren't used to that. It's one thing that's not fair, that's not true, some say allegedly, but it's another thing when it's Patrick, you're a bad guy. That's a bad question.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. Journalists aren't used to that. We want the shine, but we don't want the smoke. So I was very muscular in my response to him and taking him on because I believe it mattered, okay? I now believe that I could win 10 out of 10 debates with you and I would not move the needle. What we need is different. We need conversation. We need to move focus off of, yes, I understand why I'm worse than Tom. I get it. I've heard it 100 times. Why will Tom make it better? Let's just focus on that. I get it. I'm worse than Tom. I get it. What is he doing that will make it better? So I've changed my focus. It's not that I didn't know there was money in politics. I grew up in politics. My brother was saddled with a burden that nobody's ever given him credit for. My father, may rest in peace, on one level was a bad politician. That cat would not make a deal. And he would not talk to donors. The worst thing you could do was give Mario money because he would never want to see you again. He was a rare breed of idealist, okay? And I'm not lionizing my pop. Anybody can do their research, they'll see. Andrew had to do that. Andrew built the organization. Andrew made the sausage. And that was a tremendous burden to put on anyone, let alone your son, let alone at age 18. Andrew beat one of the most famous people in political history named David Garth, running the Ed Koch campaign. Koch, who was a national celebrity. 1982, Andrew beat them, put my father in office. That's the truth. Mario, my father, was an amazing figure, amazing orator. You don't get there on that. So Andrew has this built-in reputation with politicos in the media as the hatchet, as the hammer, and the money, and bringing in the money, and creating the organization. That's how it gets done. So the idea that this is new to me is an impossibility. But what is needed right now is if you want things to change, you know the expression that we all read in self-help,
Yes.
nothing changes if nothing changes,
Yes.
right? Patrick's life is a beautiful testament to that. The guy is always thinking about how to get better and what move I got to make. We all have to do that in every way. We don't do it in our politics. We pick sides of teams that are playing a shit game that is taking us nowhere good. So I've just changed my focus. It's not like I don't know what the establishment is. It's not like I'm trying to rebrand myself. I just think the need is different. Could I have said what I said there 4 years ago or where?
No
It's
way,
CNN?
bro.
Yeah.
Listen, I could have. Well, then why didn't I? That's not where I was. Where I was in my head was, is anything true anymore? Are you allowed to have to say, no, Tom, it's not 6, it's 7. The answer is 7 and the difference matters. That's where I was there. So it's not that I don't get it. I don't see myself as some disruptor. And everybody thinks I'm an independent journalist now. I work at one of the largest companies in media. Nexstar owns more TV stations than any company. But they do something I've never seen before. Honest to God. And you don't have to believe me. You can look it up yourself. Just watch News Nation. The guy who runs it, Perry Sook, beautiful American success story, okay? His guy is this guy, Sean Compton, okay, who does it. I'm telling you, these guys have a business plan of being nonpartisan and catering to critical thought and independence. And they literally police it. Like they'll literally be like, hey, man, you got to let people speak. You got to have on someone from Harris's side about this. We got to hear from them. I don't want to hear about why it's wrong. And I've never had a boss do that before, where they're like, don't forget the brand. Don't forget the brand. And I think that is admirable. Admirable. News Nation's only a few years old, but they made it as a statement of rejection to what they didn't like in the rest of the media. The guy doesn't need the business. He has the most TV stations in the country. So this is why they're doing it. So for me, it was just one of those moments. It was like when we met. It was just one of those moments where, hey, this works. Patrick's coming from a different place on a lot of policies and philosophical things, because what I love about you is that you're a philosopher on these things. But I just connect with who you are as a person and why you believe what you believe. When I see your father in your house, I always hug him first. I just love what you're about. I don't care if our solutions are different. Doesn't matter. I'm trying to move the needle to that. I had to say that, not because I want to bash the Democrats. The parties suck. I want everyone to leave the parties and just be independent, critical thinkers, and then make your choices. Trump is best for me. Okay. Do I like Trump as a choice? No. Okay, Harris is better for me. I believe in these things. Do I like Harris as a choice? No. Is it as bad as Biden and Trump? No. I believe that's the lowest level of American greatness I've ever seen represented in an election. And I would love to see Governor Wes Moore of Maryland. I would love to see Dan Crenshaw. I wish Ben Sass was back in politics instead of at a university. I wish the guy who was Speaker of the House,
Paul Ryan.
I really believed that these guys, agree, disagree, integrity of purpose, about something bigger than themselves. We don't have
rhinos, though. A lot of people would call them rhinos. So,
but that's the game.
But I totally get that. Did you see this, Tom, this morning? New candidates, outsiders are wanting. Can you come in this late? 2 candidates are running for office this late. I don't know if that's even Rob. This is what story is talking about this? What channel is this?
Let me pull it up. Hang on 1 second.
Why would New York Post and New York Times talk about these 2 candidates? Can you pull up the campaign on what their slogan is? Pull up their campaign on what their slogan is. Here we go. The latest campaign. Zoom in, Rob. Zoom in. Ellsworth Sosnick 2024. Shut up, you little. It's their slogan.
Well played, guys. Well played.
Rob, can you do me a favor and play the clip for people know where this is coming from? By the way, can you have ever seen this?
Joke. If that shirt exists and I don't get one in an extra medium before I leave, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Guys, that shirt is here.
I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it. You give it to me. I'm wearing it right now.
You got to be kidding.
This guy's getting naked on camera right here. What is happening right now? Ladies, don't look. Look away. You're not going to...
Rob, go to my Twitter account. It should be on there right there if you just go on my Twitter.
This is good.
This finally something I can get behind.
That's what you got to try a little bit.
Ellsworth Sosnick.
Shut up, you little bitch.
This
just what my mother used to tell me.
Have you seen this clip on what happened or no on the podcast? Is this it, Rob?
We're doing this now?
Oh my God, we have to show. So on the podcast, this is a couple weeks ago. Adam and Tom are going at it. And next thing you know, okay, Tom, Rob, it's right there. If you just go on my account, you should be able to see it. I retweeted it.
Oh, okay.
I'm texting it to you as well. It's not hard to find. I think it's 6 down. If you keep going, 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 you keep going. It's about to come up. Go one more right there. Okay. This is why the campaign started, folks. And you guys go ahead and play this clip. This is just a very special moment between the 2 candidates, the president and the VP. Go ahead.
More balanced. Oh, I read.
Tom, what's your point, dude?
I went into the, you're trying so hard, you little bitch. You know, it's like, it's like, Tom, what you have, Tom,
you're the smartest guy in the room. You're rambling on and on and on.
Almost killed Vinny. Almost killed Vinny.
That's why he's not here today. Tom, no shit. Give us what's your
point?
point?
The textbooks, baby. So
you can pause it right there. So for those of you that support the Ellsworth and the Sosnick ticket, and you like their slogan, this will be limited merch. We will never sell this again, guys. I'm telling you right now. If you want to go get that gear, 2024, that's the merch right there. It'll sell out. We don't have a big amount of shirts. This is less than 500 shirts that you can go order. So once you order, it's out. It'll be limited edition. People won't see it. But we also have this one, which I freaking love. You'll see me sporting this one here. It's the Future Looks Bright 2024 campaign shirt and the red one. Pick and choose either one of those. You can go on vtmerch.com to place the order, but this is a special one. All right, sounds good.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.